When I got my Ultra Lone Peak 4s this time last year, I thought that shoe cannot be beaten. I put them on and I immediately ran a 50k ultra marathon in them. 0 foot pain, nothing, no rubbing, no aches, no pain, no soreness. They just felt great. I liked them so much that I wore them out. I rotate my way through a load of different shoes, but this was my go-to one. I wore them more than anything right through the summer, and on hard ground that I would be better off wearing a regular road shoe on. Come the autumn, the tread on them was dead. So I picked up some new Lone Peak 4.5s. I put them on and I immediately ran a marathon out the door. Perfect, just as good if not better than the 4s. I could not be happier. And then I lost one. Bizarre, I know. I don't know how. I did literally that one marathon in them and lost the other. So I had to buy a new pair. I was about to buy a new pair of 4.5s for a race that I had coming up last weekend. And I noticed a few reviews online for the Ultra Superior 4.5. Less cushioning than the Ultra Lone Peaks, which is interesting because I'm not a fan of cushioning as such, unless it's in a shoe that I'm specifically wearing for a long recovery run. And the thing that really caught my eye, a few people saying that the toe box was a tiny bit narrower than it was on the Ultra Superior 4. Now, I had never owned the Ultra Superior at all, but I had experienced the problem that people were describing in the 4 in the Lone Peaks, and that is the foot moving inside the shoe because of how much room is in the width. And I'll explain a bit more on that issue in a bit. Basically, it sounded like a faster, lighter Lone Peak. And as the race was only a 10k, where I don't need the cushioning that I might on a marathon or an ultra marathon, I ordered some. In fact, I actually ordered the Superior 4 and the 4.5, the new one and the previous model. The Superior 4 is available much cheaper as it's the older design, but as soon as I put the two on side by side, I could tell that the 4.5 was just that better fit that was just going to work better for me. And then I raced in them. The weekend just gone. A 10-kilometer trail run, a couple of nasty hills, a little bit of tarmac road, some gravel, grass, mud, through the wood, pretty much every surface I'm likely to encounter when I'm trail running in the UK. Now, this is a review of the awesome new shoe, not my awesome running performance, but they are sort of linked. I'm 230 pounds, 6'6". I've only been running properly for a couple of years, but it's been a solid couple of years. I take it seriously, so I should be above average based on the effort I put in, but I should also be held back by my physical inappropriateness for running. There were 200 runners in that event and my target was just top 10%. That would have been amazing. The top 20. I got third, 43 minutes roughly, off-road, hilly, tricky terrain, and I got third, which is quite frankly nuts. And there are 3 reasons I did so well. 1, I'm getting fast, which is more a reflection of how simple running can be to progress at than any evidence of me doing anything special. My progression has actually been pretty linear. I've just got steadily faster at the same rate from when I started doing park runs a few years back, just sort of staggering around, to now. But because I'm now closer to the front of these sort of fun runs that I'm doing, the improvements just stand out more. Going from 180th to 160th is hard to tell, but top 10 to top 3, suddenly it's getting quite cool. Number 2, I ran with some tech that helped me go quick. That's another video. One day there'll be a link up here somewhere to it, but not straight away because I haven't made that video yet. And number 3, these shoes, no question, these are fast. They were light on my foot, they gripped well, I just felt quick in them. Let's dive into the specs. I wear a size 11 UK, that's 12 in the US. That is a 291 gram shoe. As a comparison, the Lone Peak 4.5 is a 321 gram shoe in the same size. Stack height is 20 mil, again for comparison, 25 mil on the Lone Peak with its extra cushioning. It's got the loop eyelets, which I find a much better way of getting an even tightness across the lacing than the traditional hole eyelets that feature on the Lone Peak 4. The upper is good, it is seamless, there is nothing to rub on there, it's breathable, it drains well. I was running through ankle deep water at times and the shoe drained straight away. It never got that sort of heavy foot feeling that you get from lugging water around the bottom of the shoe. And the fit is, for me, perfect. Possibly the best Ultra I have worn for fit. And I have lots of Ultra shoes that I've worn and still wear now. Now, when I said this is a narrower fit than the previous model, the reason I wear Ultras is that they all have this brilliant foot shape to them. It lets your toes spread out inside the shoe the way they're supposed to. These are absolutely no different to that at all. But one issue I've had with the Lone Peaks is that, and this was applicable to both the 4 and the 4.5, is I'd find my foot rolling inside the shoe, especially on off-camber sections. So I'm running across a slope that is up or down. Slopes are going both ways, aren't they? I'm running across it anyway, so my foot's at an angle. I'd find that my foot would slide within the shoe. This just has much more snugness to the midfoot. It's still got the wide toe box, you still feel that your feet can spread out within it, but it just feels more attached to your foot. In fact, one section on the race was a perfect test for this. We literally crossed the side of a hill, and as I went onto that path, I thought, this will be a test for the shoe. And I was ready, I was clenching my toes, which is what I have to do when I'm wearing these, to keep my foot stable inside the shoe. Didn't need to, the foot was rock solid inside the shoe, didn't go anywhere. The shoe was on angle. I felt perfectly able to just keep running fast in it though. Having said all that, it's not tight. The better word for it is snug. It's snug like an armoured slipper. I have wide feet, 230 pounds, running in minimalist shoes for a few years. My feet have got wide, way too wide for most brands of shoes, even if they have a specific wide version. But in these, perfectly comfortable. An armoured slipper is the best way to describe it. And again, the most obvious thing that you notice when you're wearing this is how light it is on the foot. It's almost got that sort of Vibram 5 fingers feel to it, where it's giving you just enough protection so your foot isn't hurt from what you're running on, but nothing more. I'm a big, heavy runner, but I just felt light on my feet wearing this, especially on the downhill sections, which were almost like mountain bike single track trails, tree roots, rocks, moving at speed, borderline out of control to be honest. I just felt confident to push it on the downhill sections wearing these, like I could pick where to place my foot with each step. And because of that low stack height, on the few occasions where my foot would land on some uneven ground and I would feel my ankle rolling over, instant feedback, and I could correct myself and basically right myself back up again and just carry on moving forward at speed. In fact, the only downside to them, which is best described in a minute when I go for an actual run, is that they do perhaps lack grip. If I'm being fussy, it would be nice if they had just a couple more mil on the lugs on the bottom of the shoe to dig in and grip a bit. They're not bad at all, but there were times where I was running along wet, muddy sections, just like this actually, and I'd be looking for the grass to the edge of the path to find some good traction. It would have been nice not to have to do that, because my size, my weight, my long stride, the quickest way for me to get anywhere when the terrain gets gnarly is just to plough through it, and having to hop and skip around daintily isn't really one of my strengths. That's being fussy really. They were pretty good everywhere else, and it's only wet, slippy mud. Water's fine. In fact, there were a couple of sections where there were deep ruts filled with water either side of the trail where 4x4s had gone through, and people were running down the middle on the high ground but the muddy ground, avoiding getting wet. I came up on a string of people like that. I drop into the rut, ankle deep water at least, and just ploughed through it, right past them. Shoes perfect, never felt heavy, never felt waterlogged. In fact, they felt just as light underwater as they do on top of water. In fact, you can tell how good they drain because when I wash them off, the water just runs straight out of the bottom of the shoe. So my only dilemma now is, after a couple more 10Ks in December, I have a 50K Ultra in January. Do I replace the 4.5s with either another pair of 4.5s, which would be annoying to have 3 of the same shoe, or will the new Lone Peak 5 be out by then perhaps, or do I try and run it in this 5 to 6 hours straight in a lightweight fast trail shoe? It may well be that I run it in these. They are that good. Just in case you are new to minimalist shoes and you're thinking that surely somebody of my weight needs more cushioning. No, the best cushioning in the world for me is achieved by landing on my midfoot and having my calf lower my heel to the ground before pushing off again. Millions of years of evolution has solved that one. I do use cushioned shoes, but only as a means of softening the overall impact on a recovery run, maybe the day after I've done a marathon or something, when my feet might just feel a little achy. I'll then run in some cushioned shoes. Also, if I'm running an ultra, 50K, that sort of distance, where my feet might start to get achy towards the end of the run, I might run in a more cushioned shoe. At all other times, I want a shoe that allows my foot to work as nature intended, exactly like all the Ultra shoes do. I just wish it had a tiny bit more grip. Although, as it is, the grip on this will not take long to wear down once I start wearing it on harder ground in the summer, which means by July, August time, assuming parkrun ever re-emerges from the ashes of COVID, this will be an incredibly quick parkrun shoe. Can't wait to run in it for that purpose. It is a highly recommended shoe. Hope you found it useful and informative. Any questions, any feedback, stick it in the comments below. Like and subscribe, please. And check out some of the other videos. The one that's coming next soon will be the one on the tech that I was wearing on that run as well, that also helped me go fast. Check back for that. Thanks for watching.